inside my heart I feel it would shout like a crowd dancing. I guess I can live without things that make my life what it is.
I have got the blue screen of death. I have single-handedly defeated swine flu, or so I like to think. I have been through over a month of school. I have done essays. I am currently on my midterms. I know, good lord, midterms are happening already, but I am back. I am so sorry for taking so long, and it means I'm going to need to do a review roundup video rather than proper reviews for all these movies, because I don't want to just waste my reviews and not talk about the movies, but at the same time, I don't have the time to post them all right now. Otherwise, I'd get so far behind I couldn't even count. I couldn't keep track. So, with that, I'm going to start the reviews. Sorry again, I apologize. Like the new intro? Yeah, lost that too because I had to get a new hard drive. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Okay, starting off, District 9. For brevity's sake, I'm going to skip with the plot description and go straight into it. The plot I found in District 9 highly original. While it's not necessarily, it's not entirely original, we've seen alien invasion plots before, it was handled very differently here, and it was a very interesting take on it. I did appreciate that they skipped back and forth between filming styles rather than just going with the documentary look the whole movie. I did find it really helped the movie transition from its documentary beginning of telling you the past, which conveniently, again, documentary is good at doing that, to the more movie-like Hollywood, for lack of a better term, format of the latter half of the movie, which is more progressing the plot. As well, I thought the effects were absolutely bloody fantastic for the budget of this movie. I don't know how they did it, but clearly there is some effects that fall a little short, and you can tell the effects aren't necessarily huge budgeted, but they still look great in their own respect, and you certainly will not be displeased with them. As well, the creativity of some of the alien weapons, and the alien race themselves is really great. Animation is fantastic, and the weapons would make Turok blush. They are really gory and really fun to watch. At the same time, the plot progresses rather nicely. I did really appreciate the movie had the audacity to put more than half the movie in subtitles, which, like I said, it's really impressive in and of itself. The characters are mostly well developed, especially the main character, who I must say I did not like a whole lot because he was kind of a douche. But that was his character, so I can forgive him. Not that it doesn't affect my liking of the movie, but it did dampen my excitement somewhat at the heroic finale, per se. At the same time, I really hope they're not setting up for a sequel, even though I would be surprised if they didn't do one after this, because the ending certainly does perhaps leave room for one, or what I prefer it to be ambiguously left the way it was. So District 9 is definitely worth seeing. If you haven't seen it already, I'm not even sure if it's still playing in many theaters, but catch it on video if you haven't, or online if you really feel like it. I find this kind of review roundup of a little older movies kind of amusing, because I can actually look at the box office numbers and tell what it's going to do rather than just predict it. Taking Woodstock did abysmally, and perhaps unfairly so, though I can see that there really isn't a whole lot of audience for this type of movie. I mean, really, how many general movie-going audiences are going to go see a period drama, comedy, about the 60s in Woodstock? Granted, the 60s is a more popular era to make this kind of movie on, and it does certainly provide an interesting backdrop that I greatly enjoyed and thought was enhanced a lot by costuming and setting and location. Ang Lee is definitely a great cinematographer. He's a real eye for that kind of thing. But otherwise, the movie was fairly enjoyable, nothing too immense. It followed the same basic plot structure that most of these coming-of-age movies do, but at the same time did provide a nice couple touches. The split-screen effects that were popular at the time, as well as used in the documentary Woodstock, are used here. And the characters, I did enjoy a lot. Liev Schreiber is a hilarious character in this movie. Definitely worth seeing, if nothing else, because Liev Schreiber is really not someone you'd expect to take this role. The main character, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, I'm sorry, does do a good job. The only person I didn't like was the mother, and I did think that there was a subplot with the mother. I won't spoil it, but literally is introduced near the end, it goes nowhere, and leaves you feeling like the movie isn't complete, whereas if they had just left it out, the movie would have felt much more complete. So that's perhaps a failing of the movie, but at the same time, though it is somewhat of a comforting plot structure, if you want a 60s fluff piece, this is definitely one to go see because it's visually quite nice, and the requisite tripping scene is very visually inventive. I appreciated the movie. This is something you should catch probably not in theaters anymore, but again, if you see it on video and you're just interested in the 60s, this is a nice watch. And now for Quentin Tarantino's Inglorious Basterds. I won't say surprise hit of the summer, but this did do a lot better than I thought it was going to. But at the same time, I am glad that it's done really well, because although the commercial does promise a lot more action than the movie does end up delivering, it makes up for it in sheer intensity and character ingenuity, I will say. Brad Pitt's Lieutenant Al Lorraine is absolutely hilarious. Every line he speaks, in my opinion, is comic gold. Eli Roth plays it perhaps too smug, but at the same time entirely lovable if you're kind of grim like me. Nazi hunter called the Bear Jew, who doesn't have a whole lot of screen time, but every second he's on, again, is totally worth it. Many other characters are abound in the Bastards that are quite memorable, as well as the main villain, who is actually fantastically acted and is basically the first character you're actually introduced to, rather than the Bastards, which comes to my main issue with the movie. I didn't think there was enough of the Bastards. While every scene with them was good, I expected more. At the same time, though, the plot does progress into an absolutely mind-blowing climax that you really shouldn't miss, and the music is fantastic in this movie, as it is with most Quentin Tarantino movies. Violence is over the top, but like I said, this movie does have a much better message, or underlying themes, than you would find in most other types of these action movies. This is an action movie for the thinking man. It's 2.5 hours long. It's not something that you can really breeze through, but at the same time, it is a really fantastic experience. It is not really a war movie, it's more of a spy movie, and this is likely one of my favorite movies of the year, because the characters just really are memorable. The story is very memorable, and there's one or two very great set pieces in this. This is a fantastic movie, really surprised me. Like I said, really great. See it if it's still in theaters, catch it. And lastly, I come to Gamer, starring Gerard Butler. This one is still likely in theaters, but good God, don't go see it. There's a couple cute parts, but coming from the directors of the Crank movies, I was expecting a lot more. I knew it would be a lot more toned down from those movies. I mean, fuck, man, general audiences can't take Crank 2 High Voltage, even though my mind was blown in all the right ways, if I do say so myself. But it was shit, Gamer. I mean, Gerard Butler's acting was terrible. The story didn't make a whole lot of sense. One of the main characters didn't even really appear in the movie. Even Michael C. Hall, Dexter, who I love as an actor, and he has a fucking dance number in this movie, really disappoints me. And I know what you're thinking. If you're the same type of person I am, you hear that Michael C. Hall has a dance number, you're just gonna go see the movie anyway. Fucking don't. It's not worth it. It is not as good as I'm making it out to be, and I'm saying it's shit. Which is pretty much the entire movie. The action is really monotonous, basically the same. It didn't even really provide in a guilty pleasure death race sort of way. This movie was absolutely abysmal. The camera work was kind of the same style as Crank, but not nearly as frenetic, and not even half as comprehensible. This movie really has nothing going for it. I was so disappointed, and I would not recommend this movie to anyone. Even if you're hard up for an action night, there's much better things you can rent. Any other Jason Statham movie practically will do. Hell, go get Crank. Same directors did it, infinitely better. See pretty much any other movie in the theaters. This is terrible. Especially when you have to take up the screen with a 350-pound fat guy with grease on his belly trying to have sex with a girl. I mean, honestly, I know you're trying to make some kind of social commentary. Fucking stop it and go back to the ridiculous shit you usually do. Whew! So, how'd you like that? Sorry about the really quick roundup, but promise there'll be new videos coming really goddamn soon. New stuff too, not any of this old stuff that's already out of theaters. I will try and put out as many as I can, as fast as I'm seeing movies. Currently I already have Pandorum and Toy Story 1 and 2 on hold, Zombieland, Where the Wild Things Are, and I hope they serve beer in hell to come, as well as probably a few other things. We'll see. At that note though, peace out guys. Hope you'll forgive me, and I hope you can look forward to my other videos. Coming soon.